He don't want to be a part of the team, and not only do he not want to be a part of the team, but he wants the GM out of there, and he wants the head coach out of there, and Steve Nash, right? Obviously, the owner cannot fold to that. He cannot say, all right, boom, we're going to do whatever it takes for me to keep you here. You know what I'm saying? And if I got to get rid of my owner, and if I got to get rid of, if I got to get rid of my GM, and if I got to get rid of my head coach, I'm going to do it just so I can keep you, Kevin Durant. If he says that, or if he does that, obviously it's going to make him look weak. It's going to make the NBA look bad as a whole. You know what I'm saying? When it comes down to the owners. And it would just prove that the players have 100% fucking control on what's going on with not only the teams but the NBA as a brand. Yeah, man. And obviously they don't want that look. They do want it to look like the players do have some control of their career. They want it to be that way, because if they didn't, it wouldn't be that way. But you know what I'm saying? The NBA players do have some control of their career, but for them to control the entire team, that's only reserved for players like LeBron James. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't LeBron, you can't run the team. You know what I mean? And that even goes for a guy like KD. You know what I'm saying? And any of the other top players in the league. Just because you're a top player in the league don't mean you can run an organization. And when they see LeBron do it, LeBron kind of make it look easy, even though he's 4 out of 10 in the finals. You know what I'm saying? So he's not really making it look that easy. But when he do pull it off, they like, yo, I could do that, yo. You know what I'm saying? If I stop listening to these GMs and this, that, and the third, and I just pick my own team, you understand what I'm saying? And I bring in all the guys that I want to play with, then, I'm pretty sure I can win a championship too. And that's what Kyrie Irving thought he could do, and that's what Kevin Durant thought he could do. You know what I'm saying? Kevin Durant fell in his first time with Brooklyn, and Kyrie, with him felling in Brooklyn and felling in Boston. You know what I'm saying? Both trials for Kyrie was disastrous. And you know what I mean? This one right here for KD is disastrous as well. And then they come to find out that it's not as easy as it look. So here's KD again saying, boom, I want out of here. Not only do I want out of here, I want to go to the 76ers. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, that means obviously he want to link back up with James Harden, and obviously he wants to link up with Joel Embiid. The only problem with that is the 76ers don't got that much to offer. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you can't send James Harden to Brooklyn, right? Brooklyn obviously is going to say, fuck that, bro. We don't even want ball. Obviously, they're going to be on some shit like, yo, he not even the same player he was when he was here last time. And when he was here last time, that was a drop-off from when he was in Houston. So since he's been in Houston, he went to Brooklyn. He dropped off a little bit, but he still was a high caliber player. You understand what I'm saying? Like, when he dropped off from Houston, it was more so just the scoring, you know what I mean, the volume of scoring where when in Houston he was scoring at, you know what I mean, 36 points a game. And when he got to Brooklyn, it was more like 24 points a game. But with a lot of assists and a lot of rebounds, and it was just a much better fit. And if you ask me, it was actually a better James Harden in Brooklyn than it was in Houston, because all of that dribble, shooting, step back, and all of that, it was all fine and dandy for the eyes. I mean, for eye candy when you're watching the game, and for entertainment, it was decent. But when you're talking about trying to win an NBA championship, the style of play that he was playing with Brooklyn is perfect, and I think that's what the 76ers thought they was going to get. The 76ers thought they was going to get that Brooklyn Nets James Harden before the hamstring pull, and he just haven't been able to get back to that guy. Hopefully he's in shape coming out of the offseason, and you know what I'm saying, maybe he can get back to being that guy. And I do got just a slither of confidence left that he can get back to an elite level guy during the regular season. But even if he does that, he still has yet to prove to us that he can be a high caliber player in the postseason. And obviously, We all know that's what matters most. And regardless if he's able to get back into tip-top shape and get back to them step backs and get back to blowing by guys and get back to crossing dudes over, even if he can get back to that, we have to see it not only in the regular season, but we have to see it in the postseason more importantly. You understand what I'm saying? Obviously, there's a lot of things that got to go right to win the finals. But just the fact that KD wants to link back up with James Harden, what does that tell you? That tells you that he now sees exactly where James Harden was coming from. When he was with Brooklyn last year and, they was going through their troubles, Kyrie was doing his own thing, James Harden and or more so James Harden, which, come on, KI, like, you got to come back and blah, 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 blah. And then when he did get back, like, halftime, we're just going to like, yo, we need you. Like, you got to come back full time. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, he wasn't trying to hear it. I think KD knew exactly who Kyrie Irving was. So, that's his homie, that's his man, that's his friend. So he on the tip, like, I already know. Nothing I do or say is going to change Kyrie Irving's mind. Kyrie Irving has a mind of his own, which is a very great thing. You know what I'm saying? They bash him for having his own mind and thinking for himself and not just going with what society say is right. They bash him for that, but you know what I'm saying? I commend him for that. And it's very hard for people to make that decision and say, yo, I'm going to think for myself and not just go with society's norms. But like I said, back to, KD and James Harden linking back up. They don't really have much to offer, man. The Sixers don't have much to offer. They probably going to try to, if anything, they can give up Tyrese Maxey, right? I love Tyrese Maxey. I don't want to give him up. If I got to give Tyrese Maxey up to get Kevin Durant, would I do it? Sure, I'll do it. But you losing out on 10 years of an all-star player. You understand what I'm saying? Like, we got to remember, James Harden, he's out of here in the next few years, right? KD, he's out of here in the next few years. And in terms of, they're not going to be the same player 3-4 years from now. Maybe not even a year or two from now, they might not be the same players that they are today. Not only them, but same thing with Joel Embiid. Knock on wood, but he's one injury away from his career being done. You understand what I'm saying? Like, if he tears his ACL today or tomorrow, and then got to rehab a year, and then got to work your way back in for a year, and then maybe your shit, you know what I mean? Well, you know how it go when you fuck up one knee, you start putting stress on the other leg, and then that leg go, and then it's just a DeMarcus Cousins type deal. You know what I mean? Fortunately, he hasn't had like any super duper major, knee problems or anything after, I believe, coming out of college. They kept him on a leash. They really didn't want to let him play like that. He was having Zion Williamson problems. He just couldn't get in shape. He was not eating well. But it seems as though Joel Embiid has turned the corner on that one. He's played the most games he played since he's been in the NBA last season. He played throughout the playoffs. He played well throughout the playoffs. Some may disagree, but I think he looked good. But if we're only going to be able to give up Tyrese Maxey, and we're only going to be able to give up, Harris and Thibault, we're giving up a lot of our core guys. You understand what I'm saying? Tobias Harris is no KD by no stretch of the imagination, right? And it looked like he was having a hard time like fitting in once James Harden came around and he was on the ball, a lot. You know what I'm saying? He was on the ball a lot. And then obviously you got Maxey who can create plays and put the ball in the basket for himself. So you got both of those guys on the ball, and then you got a dominant guy down in a post, which you have to feed him the ball as well. You know what I'm saying? Actually, you have to feed him the ball first and foremost. You know what I'm saying? So it really wasn't that many opportunities for Tobias Harris, right? So maybe he does have to go. Maxey, I would hate to see him go, and Thibault as well, because that's 10 years from both of these players. Not saying that they'll stay with Philly, not saying that Philly will pay them, to stay, but we could be building a core nucleus and just getting rid of it for a 2 or a 1 or 2 or 3 year stretch of trying to win a championship. It could work out, it may not work out. If you take that risk, I'm not mad at you and say, yo, let's go for it right now. These next 2 years, we're trying to win a championship right now, this second. I'm not mad at you if you are able to pull that trade off and you can get a KD on he's not fully in his prime, but he's not fully out of his prime either. Same thing with James Harden. He's obviously not in his prime and he's definitely on the downslope, but he's still a top 20 player at least, right? And then you got Joel Embiid, who's the best center in the league, but he has problems. He has, a history of not being able to stay healthy throughout the entire season and into the playoffs, right? Same thing with KD. He has a problem with staying injury free as well. James Harden, obviously he's been an Iron Man in the NBA and he's been he's been injured very, very little throughout his career, but he's been having them hamstring problems since, since, did he get the hamstring in Brooklyn or Houston? I think it was Brooklyn. But ever since the hamstring problem, he obviously hasn't been the same player since then. I have seen a picture of him on, I think it was Twitter, and he's in phenomenal shape. He looks great. You understand what I'm saying? That doesn't go to say he's going to be back to who he was in Houston or in Brooklyn. But what it does say is he's in phenomenal shape. You know what I'm saying? And when it comes down to, do we want him to be in shape or do we want him to be out of shape? Obviously, we want him to be in shape, so that is a plus for James Harden. And he is moving in the right direction, and it tells me where his mindset is. And maybe he's showing actions and not just saying it. What is he saying? He's saying, yo, I'm willing to go all in and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to win a championship, because he knows at this point in his career, with all of the stats that he have, he'll be lumped in that category with the best players who never won a championship. And quite frankly, you don't want to be in that conversation. You understand what I'm saying? You don't. And the only thing he needs to do is win one. That's all you got to do. You know what I'm saying? When you win multiple, obviously it raises your legacy. But when you win one, you're a part of the elites. You know what I'm saying? And that's what he's trying to get done. And if they can get KD there, that obviously gives them a good chance to be able to, get to where they're trying to get to. But like I said, it just hurt my heart to let go of Maxey, man. I love Maxey. Maxey is the fucking truth, man. Like, he is fearless. He is, you know what I'm saying? He quick as hell. He's a smart-ass player. He's very confident. Like, that's what I love about him the most. Like, his confidence is just through the fucking roof for such a young player, and he's just not scared of the moment. Obviously, he need to work on his distance shooting, but he's not horrible to me. You know what I'm saying? He's not a horrible shooter. He's just not super duper consistent, and that part of his game he's not so much confident about. But once he get into the lane, get a couple layups, get into the lane, make a couple kickouts, and guys, knock down some shots and give him some assists, then that's when he can get going from deep. You understand what I'm saying? Because now the confidence is built up, the adrenaline is running through the body, and you know what I mean? When you got that going on, bro, the basket just open up to the Red Sea. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it go. You know what I mean? Anybody who play ball, you know what I'm saying? Once you get going, that basket is just fucking wide open. It's hard to miss once you on. But man, like, this is my take on it, man. Like, yo, I'm just surprised that Philly is even in a running, or I'm just surprised that Philly is even a place that KD would even consider to come, just because of James Harden alone. But like I said earlier in the video, that just shows you that, you know what I'm saying, at this point, Kevin Durant is seeing exactly what James Harden seen way back. And, you know what I'm saying, even though James Harden quit on Kevin Durant, like, yo, ultimately, this is telling us, this with this story coming out saying he wants to go join Philly and play with James Harden, this is telling us that he's saying, James Harden, you was right about this, and I can't be mad at you no more for pulling the trigger and being able to see this way earlier than I was able to see it. And you made it easier for yourself to get out, and you gave yourself an opportunity to win a title last year. You know what I'm saying? Even though we fell short and we wasn't able to do so, you know what I'm saying? At least he gave himself an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? KD and them, I mean, I guess they gave themselves an opportunity as well because they got into the playoffs, and obviously if James Harden was there, they would have been a better team. But ultimately, you know what I mean, that's Kevin Durant is telling James Harden, like, damn, bro, you was right. Like, you know what I mean? And now, and we got to mention this. We killed James Harden. You know what I'm saying? Right now, we killing Kevin Durant. Like, oh, they trying to make it easy. It's easier for you to do it by yourself. I mean, it's easier for you to go link up with, you know, a team that's already ready to go. And, you know what I mean, you add a top 5 player to that team, and it's like, you know what I mean, now you're definitely a championship team. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know what I mean, LeBron has took that route. You know what I mean? KD has took that route, obviously. But KD wants to do it by himself or wants to do it under a team that's supposed to be his. But if he goes to Philly, that's not just squad, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm from Philly. You damn skippy, we gonna embrace KD with open arms. We gonna open, KD, come on in, baby. Come on in, baby. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with how we did with James Harden. Same thing how we doing with AJ Brown. Like, when we get fucking superstar and high caliber players, we're going to fucking embrace you with open arms, but we're going to expect you to perform as well. You know what I'm saying? Because we're not going to just go off of your name. We're not going to just go off of your history and what you did in the past for this team and that team. We're expecting you to do that here. You understand what I'm saying? We're expecting you to do that here. You know what I'm saying? And not only perform at a high level, but we expect you to perform at a higher level than you did there. We expect more. You understand what I'm saying? Like, bro, listen, if fucking what's his name? The GM for Philly, that came from Houston, that's James Harden guy. Daryl Morey. If he's able to pull that off and get KD here, he's a fucking GOAT, yo. You know what I mean? I love him as a GM. He's very aggressive. He's very innovative. He's very, you know what I'm saying, before the wave and creating a wave type of guy. And I love Daryl Morey. That was a huge pickup for us as far as a general manager. You know what I mean? Alongside Elton Brand. I'm not a big fan of Elton Brand. I ain't like a lot of the shit he was doing as a GM. But obviously the Sixers owner, obviously he liked him for someone. I think he probably liked Elton Brand more so because he's more relatable to the players and because he actually played, you know what I mean? He played in the league and, you know what I mean? He's just more relatable. You know what I'm saying? I think that's his role, you know what I mean? In that sense, like, just you're the GM who goes into the locker room, talks to the guys and relate and do all of that shit. And Daryl Morey, you go find us some players. You go find us some big time players. You go make us some fucking deals. And that's how they've been shaking that shit out, man. But Sixers there, I already talked about them in another video earlier this year. But the Sixers are in great shape. Like I said in another video about the Sixers, I expect them to stay aggressive. I expect them to continue to keep making moves. And here they are again in trade discussions for a top 5 player in Kevin Durant, man. It's Tate Takes. We out of here. Let's get it.